So, my manifesting has really been amazing in a lot of areas of my life, but the one thing that keeps happening is with money. I own my own company, and so I'm in charge of the money, and that's really stressful for me, and it's hard to stay in the vortex or stay in alignment.
You say the one thing that keeps happening. So would you go so far as to say, I'm letting what is train my expectation? Because it sounded like that. The one thing that keeps happening is, so does it feel to you like you're, in other words, why should I tell it other than it is? It's interesting, it's the one thing that's not happening, and yet it's the thing we're talking about. There's a clue there. Because you could be talking about the things that are happening, and that all take you in the vortex. But because you're talking about the one thing that isn't happening, you don't go in, so that one doesn't change. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. But if it's something that I have to face every day, how do I, if I go to the beach for the day, great things happen, but I can't live my life at the beach every day. And you're going to say I can't.
Well, it's all right. What you're saying is I'm having a difficult time feeling beyond what is on this subject, and yet that is the work. In other words, what you're saying is, this is exactly what you're saying. I have this issue which I feel compelled to give quite a bit of my attention to. And because I give quite a bit of my attention to this issue, it won't change. But I have to give a lot of my attention to it because I have to give a lot of my attention to it. And because I have to give a lot of my attention to it, it can't change. But I have to give a lot of my attention to it because I can't not give a lot of my attention to it. But you did bring up the beach, so apparently there's room for an idea beyond what is. And so it's that reality thing. It just gets you, doesn't it? It's this, what's this obsession with telling it like it is? In other words, you could talk about money in a lot of different ways. It's just a habit. In other words, you've trained yourself, as most people have trained themselves, and you train each other to face reality. And we want to sort of help you break down that boundary that holds you and let you know that there is another reality that you could be facing. It's the vibrational reality, and it is vivid. It is the most vivid. In fact, it's certainly the biggest vibration. It certainly reflects who you really are. So, does anyone else have this problem, or is it only this person? And we don't just mean the issue of money. We mean the issue of reality seeming to hold you in this place. That's what you're saying. I have to face it. I have to face the facts. And we say, no, you don't. You say, I have to face reality. We say, not really. You really don't have to. You just think you have to, so you do, and it holds you back. If we could convince you that you don't have to face that reality. So when you said, I have to deal with it every day, what did you mean? I can't just go to the beach. I have to deal with this. What do you mean?
Running a company, looking at bills I need to pay, seeing that there's not enough money for them.
So is that all you do? Is just look at unpayable bills?
No.
Then your company has more problems than not enough money. In other words,
I avoid it.
Well, good, but so you do more than that.
Yes? Creative.
So are there any aspects, any personality aspects of your business that you could give your attention to other than that money thing?
Absolutely, but then I worry that part will fall apart.
But you're keeping that part alive by your attention to it. That's the part you would like to fall apart, that not enough money part.
Right.
Hear that. Wouldn't you like that part to fall apart? Wouldn't you like the part to evaporate, the not enough money part? Then don't think about the not enough money part. If you don't think about the not enough money part, it will cease to be. you're keeping it alive by your attention to it.
I see.
Are there any parts of your business that you would like to keep alive?
Yes, everything else.
For example?
Well, it's creative. I design clothes, so
that's a good conversation. You would like to keep that part alive.
Yeah.
Keep it alive by talking about it here.
Right.
Now.
Well, just my whole, after reading
don't
your
get distracted.
books,
Just
but
tell us about the part you want to keep alive, the creative part. Talk about it.
just being inspired.
Talk about it more specifically.
Looking at things that inspire me and creating things.
Talk about it more specifically.
Actually,
Love to design clothes. Love to think about
I like
clothes.
to, draw and come up with ideas and take photos.
Keep talking about it, because as you talk about it, that's the part you keep alive.
I see.
What else? We're not kidding. In other words, it feels funny to you because it seems so obvious, but
Right.
it can't be as obvious as it seems, or you wouldn't be talking about the part you don't want to keep alive instead of the part that you do want to keep alive.
Right.
It must not be obvious. It must seem like the part I don't want, I need to wrestle to the ground and kill. But you can't do that. The more you talk about it, the more. But even more than keeping it alive, you know what's really going on? You're keeping yourself vibrationally tied to it. Mm-hmm. So the part that you really want can't reveal itself to you because that part's not active in your vibration. What you're keeping alive is a vibrational proclivity. So what you're saying to the universe is, relative to money, this is how I roll.
Right.
So show me everything that matches this. Relative to creativity, this is how I roll. This is how I roll. Relative to enjoying working with others, this is how I roll. Mm-hmm. Relative to feeling inspiration flow through me and being able to take an idea and watch it come to fruition until there is actually a clothing line that reflects this image that I had in my mind. This is how I roll. But relative to money, this is how I roll. So, universe, I expect you, because I understand the law of attraction, to yield to me what I've got going on. And so I'm doing really well in everything but money. And we say, you can change that. You can tell a different story. Or you can use the things that easily take you into the vortex as your reason for being in there. And then from inside the vortex, you can then begin to discuss finances. And when you discuss finances from inside the vortex, they feel fun. You see, as we talk about money relative to you, we feel no shortage. So we are as happy to discuss your financial well-being as your creative well-being, because they are equal to us in terms of approaching them from inside. We don't feel any shortage. But you got to come in here where we are in order to not feel any shortage. And sometimes as we distract you from what you do feel shortage about, we can entice you into what you don't feel shortage about. In other words, we can get you into the vortex as we help you change the subject, and then from inside the vortex you can begin discussing the subject that you formerly felt shortage about, and you don't feel shortage. Shortage is about pinching off the flow. That's all, because the flow is flowing. You're just not letting it flow relative to money because you have this habit of thought. And we don't have to go back how long you've had it or where you picked it up or what influences it, or even what influenced it when you were little or what influenced it today. In other words, it's easy to know that today I feel better until I have to face the reality of having more bills than the ability to pay it. And so it feels like the bills, or thinking about the bills, are what take me out of the vortex. And we say, no, you're already out of the vortex on that subject, so those are the only thoughts that can come to you relative to that subject. You've got to approach it from another way, and inside the vortex approach is really what we recommend. So let's start over here. You just sat down. You have a company that has so much going on with it. You are a being who has so much in the vortex ability and ability to vibrate, we mean. Mm-hmm. In other words, ability to focus. So here you are, this person who now is different than you were a few minutes ago, because we've talked with you, we've activated more active within you, the in the vortex part of you. We encouraged you to talk about things that make it easier for you to be in the vortex. As you talked about it, other people in the room can feel the depth and breadth and clarity and responsiveness of your business. In other words, you've got a really strong vibration going on there. Everyone can feel it. So you are not in the same vibrational place now that you were a few minutes ago. So now, talk to us about your business.
I love it. I mean, in every way, it makes me so happy. I enjoy going to work every day. I love the people I work with. It's everything. I love it. I feel exactly where I'm meant to be and meant to be doing.
All right, so now that's all resistance free.
Yeah.
So you're in the vortex, you're talking about your business, there's no resistance within it. Now you can change the subject to something else that's equally easy to stay in the vortex about, or you can get even more specific about your business. If you stay on the subject of your business longer, you might feel a temptation, and would be all right, to discuss the financial well-being of it. Now, you've got a choice from inside the vortex. You can talk about money, the money that's coming, or the money that's there. You can talk about the promise of the business, or you can talk about the current manifestation of the business. You can talk about present reality in terms of vibration, or you can talk about present reality in terms of what's in your bank account right now. But we want you to make the decision to have the discussion that you're going to have based on your desire to stay in the vortex. So try to talk about money in a way that allows you to stay in the vortex. Milk it right now.
I've gotten lots of great orders. There's money coming in.
Now, when you talk about there's money coming in, that has a tendency to sort of call you to think about reality,
Right.
and that might sort of cause the vortex to spit you out. So you might be better off to talk about how creativity and energy and law of attraction are at the base of the financial well-being of your company, and you can feel the juices flowing, so the dollars are inevitable. Doesn't that feel right? Doesn't that just feel logical? You can talk about how when companies have good ideas and great employees like you do, when you're set up like this, you're set up for certain success. Mm-hmm. See how you're talking about money, staying in the vortex, but you're guiding it toward the vibrational reality and what's coming in terms of future manifestation, rather than turning and looking right at something that you're worried about. In other words, you're managing your relationship with the vortex. And as you keep doing that, what happens is you shift your expectation. What we want to say to all of you is, does the money really have to be there in order for you to feel safe? Does the money have to be there in order for you to feel optimistic? Can you have an emotional response to thoughts, or do you only have emotional responses to manifestation? That's the big question here. Mm-hmm. A woman says, I have arthritis in my hips. How can I be positive? And we said, oh, you think that your only emotional response can be to what is, and since you're in pain, then it should follow with a fearful thought. But you can be optimistic and in pain, just like you can be fearful and in pain. You can be optimistic with not enough money in your bank account right now, or you can be pessimistic with not enough money in your bank account right now. And depending upon how you tell the story, and whether you do it from inside or outside the vortex, depends upon whether you are allowing or disallowing the manifestation to occur. You see what we're getting at?
I think there's just a certain level of guilt when and you're right, like when I let go and I'm in a good place, like in the vortex, what draws me back a lot is that I'm starting to feel guilty that I'm not dealing with it, that I'm avoiding it.
But think about what guilt is. Guilt comes in response to a thought. What's the thought you're thinking when the guilt comes?
I should be worrying right now. But I'm happy.
So your inner being doesn't agree with that thought, otherwise you
Right.
wouldn't feel guilt. When you think a thought that your inner being is in vibrational concert with, you feel satisfaction. You feel aligned. But when you think a thought that is in vibrational contradiction, that's when it feels uncomfortable. So what you're saying is, I worry about money, and then when I don't worry about money, I feel guilty about not worrying about money. And we say, sounds like money is an out of the vortex conversation for you, no matter how you look at it, and you have to change that.